So, this is about addiction, food addiction. I guess, though, it could be any addiction, really, because, okay, I've been thinking some things out in my head. And it's kind of like you, okay, I identify food as the enemy. And I don't mean that like in a weird, like, anorexia type way. I mean it like when you think about food addiction, the addiction is food and that's the enemy. But really, in addiction, the enemy is yourself. And dude, it is like I am a smart cookie and I am a bright person who can think outside the box and who can problem solve. And then all of a sudden, I'm up against this other smart cookie who can think outside the box and problem solve, which means we have this mutual, it's because it's me, right? So mentally, my opponent is matched to me. And I can't outsmart it or like think outside of the realm because it's gonna think just like me. And so there's this weird situation where it's almost like we have this common point of health, right? Of like where we both want control. And so like imagine, I don't know if you ever played what was it? Capture the flag. So you have two teams who hide their flags, and then the teams have to go find the flag, get to the flag, and then get back to base first, right? It's like in that situation, you want to find the best hiding spot you can possibly think of and hope that your opponent doesn't think the same way. And then you want to strategize how you're going to get to your opponent's flag and how, like, where they would probably have hidden it and how you're going to get to it and then how you're going to get back to base without being caught or anything like that. But if you're playing against yourself, then the hiding spots are the same. The strategies are the same. It's almost impossible. It's like this standoff struggle that just it can't end well type of deal. So I feel like health or balance or control is like the flag in this situation. Like I'm trying to find a place to put it and I'm trying to find, and sometimes I feel like I've got it pretty in control. And then comes out the secret weapon, the weapon I don't have, the weapon the addiction me does have. The difference between her and me, the only difference that exists, and it's my subconscious. The addiction has subconscious straight up on her side. So, like, if I'm not 100% on and I'm not paying attention 1000%, then don't you know, I'll be like cooking and nibbling subconsciously. Or I'll get up because I'm hungry and I'll go like rifle or I'm bored or whatever. And I'm go rifling through the pantry subconsciously. It's like I wake up and I'm like, what am I doing at the pantry? Why am I digging through this? Or I'm eating cookies not subconsciously eating cookies. If that was the case, they'd be, I guess, calorie free. I mean, real cookies based on some subconscious decision to get up and get cookies. I don't even like Oreos. I don't like Oreos. Like, sure, there's sugar, and so in that respect, I will eat them. But I don't like Oreos. If given a choice between cookies or Oreos and ice cream or Oreos and pretty much any other food, I don't like Oreos. And yet, my subconscious will trigger something where my body will get up and binge Oreos despite the fact that I don't like them. I don't even understand. Like, how is one supposed to like even deal with that? And then I came up with this, and it's not, I didn't come up with it, like invent it, but see this rubber band? I pop it every time I wake up and I'm halfway in the pantry. I snap it. Every time I realize that I just popped food in my mouth as I was cooking, I snap it. It's basically like, I know that some people use it as like every time you have a bad thought, you snap it. And whenever I think like, and I do that. Like if I'm thinking like, oh, whatever, I have this many calories, I can go eat junk food, I snap it. But it's really more not about changing the behavior, like associating that behavior with pain. It's really for me more about calling my attention to the moment. Like it's almost like putting a highlighter on the day. Like, remember this? Remember this? Like it's like I said, like when you snap into reality, I like physically snap the rubber band because it kind of helps me punctuate that thought, that realization that once again, subconscious decisions were causing me to act. And I'm hoping to curb the behavior because I feel completely insane over it. Like I feel like what does that even like, I don't even like how does somebody who doesn't even like Oreos eat a bag of Oreo, a whole container of Oreos? Now, that hasn't happened lately. And actually, I haven't sat down and eaten the whole thing. But it'll be like, I'll get 3 Oreos, count the calories for them. A couple hours later, get 3 out Oreos, count the calories for them. And then it's like, well, so what if I go over 1,000 calories? I can make that up. I mean, people go over sometimes, and, you know, and I know that seems like a lot of thought. Like, you're like, well, Sonia, how can you possibly say that you're doing it subconsciously, but you're thinking? And it's because, like, I am checked out during that. Like, that whole thought process, that's like addiction and addiction self having a conversation, like pretending to justify when really, and then I'm like, what am I doing? And this, okay. I talked to you guys about everything about starting over or whatever, and like the leak in the dam and finding the leak. And I think that that's what this rubber band is about. It's about every time I identify a little trickle in the dam, I snap the rubber band. It's just like a way to call attention, a way to like be more aware and to be more checked into it. So that the repairs can be made, because how can you repair something? You can't even figure out what's broken on it. And I'm trying to think. I made that video and I talked to you guys, and I think that was like 2 weeks ago. And you guys were amazing and totally like supportive and just amazing. So at that point, I had this like kind of plan type deal that I was going to put into action or whatever. And it didn't really happen. And then a couple, like maybe last week, I'm recording this on my phone, so I can't check the dates and stuff. But I think it was last week, I sat down with myself and I was like, okay, let's look at what we can do. Let's make certain changes. And I came up with a couple. And I'm aiming for a month, a week at a time. One, I'm only eating fish or shrimp. I feel better when I eat that way. Those proteins are best for my body. So only fish and shrimp. And I am doing like eggs and dairy, but I'm just saying, which is why you're seeing a lot of veggie meals or fish and shrimp meals, that kind of stuff. So that's for the next month. I have myself a plan for 15-minute workouts in the morning. Every day there's a different 15, not different from every other day. I just mean like arms, hooping, legs. There's a 15-minute workout every morning. And then there's a 2-mile run, a 30-minute bike ride, a day off. A 2-mile run, a 30-minute bike ride, a day off in the evenings. So altogether there should be at least 45 minutes to an hour of movement on those days where there's 2. And then even on the rest days, there are 15 minutes of actual core strength building activity. And I'm starting that today, and it's going for a week, and I'll see how it goes. I'll see if I need to adjust it. Pain levels are less than they were, thank God. Like, thank you, Jesus. Seriously. They are still there. I'm still kind of rickety. I've gotten 2 more erythema nodosum bumps on my legs, one on my right and one on my left. But I am doing better. And so I'm just going to, like I said, just kind of take it in little chunks and get through it. I think, I don't know, I'm kind of going full circle with this, but I think the rubber band really helps because I feel like I started wearing it last week when I decided to put my plan into motion. When I started to realize just how much I was doing that I did not realize I was doing. So I put it on, and it's really been like the first couple of days, it was like I was snapping it all the dang time to the point where, see, on this wrist I have a tattoo, and this is the hand I had the rubber band on, but I was snapping it so often, like, it's not bad. I'm not trying to hurt myself, but at all. I'm not trying to hurt myself. I don't want a big old whelp or anything, but I just kind of snap. It's just like a, hey, you know? But what I was going to say was, I was snapping it so often that it was itching, and I looked down, and my tattoo was kind of like gray from the skin being itched, and I was like, wait a second, no. Obviously, I got to put it on the other hand. So the first 2 days, it was pretty crazy. I was like itching it pretty constantly. I mean, snapping it pretty constantly. And then yesterday, I snapped it twice. I snapped it at a birthday party where, like, I had a plan going in, only healthy foods. You saw those yesterday's food vlog. There were 2 Sunday's food vlog. It went like, I didn't eat breakfast because I was running late for church. I had my coffee, thank God. We went to the party, and I was like, I don't want to eat anything crazy. There's always a freaking birthday. There's always a wedding, a birthday, a funeral, a birth, or some type of celebration. So I was like, I cannot use that as an excuse to keep eating cupcakes and crap. I don't want them. I'm trying to do sugar-free and stuff like that. So not sugar-free, but I mean like no like snack stuff. So I was like, I'm not even dealing with that. So we go, and I'm looking at the cupcakes. So I snapped it then. But you see grilled vegetables and a salad, and that's what I wanted up eating, so it worked out well. And then yesterday evening, I snapped it again because I have my snacks planned the day before. So I had like a banana and a yogurt and stuff like that. And I went to the pantry and was like, I wonder what's in here that I can eat. And there's nothing in the pantry that I can eat. I mean, snack-wise. I can't grab cookies. I can't. So even doing that, like just going over there, was just my brain not being aware of what I was doing, not really thinking it out. So the moment I realized it, I snapped the rubber band and went and got my yogurt. Bam! And today I haven't snapped it at all yet. Well, I snapped it a couple of times telling you guys about the snapping, but like not for any real reason. So that's good. Today I have arms, 15 minutes arms, 15 minutes of hooping, and I think a bike ride scheduled. But the weather down here has been fantastically horrible, which means I probably won't wind up riding my bike. Because I do like the running and riding in the evenings, and lately it's been crazy weather. Crazy. Speaking of crazy weather, yesterday on the way home from church, we got stuck. Like, the car almost floated. Like, it was starting to like from the water on the streets, and we got stuck in 2 different places in the city trying to get home. Crazy, huh? It was crazy. It was, and you know what? Like, one time I was like, oh, I need to take a video, but it was pouring down rain, and I couldn't see through the window. I was like, never mind, I'll do it later. And then we got stranded, and it wasn't raining anymore, but we were on like this little island of highway, And we sat there for a while, and then I was like, I need to take a video. And I was like fishing my phone out when my wife, who was amazing, brilliantly brainstormed a way to get to higher land in the vehicle. It was like, we're gonna go. So I was like, whatever. When she was driving through that water and stuff, because you can't see how deep water is. And if it's streets, you can kind of hope you're right. But so when she decided to drive, I just put my phone down and prayed with my eyes closed because I did not want the car to die and to sit there and float or sink and fill up with water. True story. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye.